Hey guys, it's Glenn from G&P Custom Fabrications. On today's video, we're going to be giving some love to Sketchy. My Sketchy hat. So much stuff going on, I haven't really had time to do much. So I'm really trying to, I've been going in withdrawals, trying to get out here to shop. First, story on my hat. See, it says Wrenchfest. You can see Sketchy's on it. Thank Steve Kleinhaus for asking me several months ago to use pictures of Sketchy, or actually all my rats, Sketchy and Rat Dooley, for promotional stuff, and I was just delighted to be asked, really. So yeah, I showed you the banner in previous videos. If not, here it is here. The poster for the event is right there. There it is. Anyway, it was a good show. Had a good time. I posted a video of it, and so now that was the last really big. There was another Rusttoberfest was after the Wrenchfest. I wasn't able to make it that. It just wasn't. I had issues with Rat Dooley that I just wasn't going to deal with. I was kind of burned out for the year. It's kind of sad. All the trouble I went through to try to get both vehicles going. And I made one car show all year. So anyway, enough crying over that. On today's video, I'm going to be addressing a few things on Sketchy here. Starting off with, I'm going to go ahead and pull the tow bar back off. That is how we got Sketchy to the car show. Is this tow bar. See it there. Get a good look at it. A tow bar was actually built for towing another RV home, not the one that Sketchy's motor came out of, but a second one I bought. I wasn't able to drive it home, so I built this tow bar, towed it back, and then things came up, and I was trying to figure out a good way to get Sketchy to shows. I don't have a trailer big enough to haul Sketchy on. So last year for Wrenchfest, I came up with the idea I'd go ahead and mount the tow bar on the front of Sketchy and tow Sketchy there. And that's what I ended up doing. Worked out great. Pulled it no problem this year. I was having some issues with Rat Dooley yet, still running hot. Some other stuff I'll talk about in later videos. But so we ended up towing it down there with the Wise Ford Ranger, and it worked out fine. Didn't have any trouble pulling it. Pulled down the road good, but we did have an issue on the way back. We were sticking to the service roads, and I'm going to take this hat off. I love the hat, but it just doesn't work for me in the videos. But on the way back, there were some rough spots in the road, and we hit one, and you can see the headlight is hanging off there. And what had happened was this steering arm right here, steering arm right there, when it came up, that steering arm hit the bottom of the headlight and broke the casting off. It's cast aluminum. You can see how that one's mounted on that side. And fortunately my wife heard it bouncing around back there. Got a little road rash on the top of it, the side of it, but you can see a little road rash there. But it's a rat rod, so I'm not real stressed about it. But I have been trying to come up with a way to fix it. I'm not going to mess with trying to weld or braze that aluminum. I don't even know where to start on cast aluminum, what can be done with it. So first thing I've already done was I lowered this control arm down, the steering arm, to where it's just barely above the axle there, so you can see right there. And I think that's plenty of clearance. In fact, what I'm thinking I'll probably end up doing is I'll take it out and come down from the top and lower this down even more I've got some ideas. I'm wanting to try to reduce this distance here over this way to quicken up the steering a little bit, and I'm also wanting to mess with the Ackerman angle a little bit, try to kick that in a little bit so that it'll steer sharper. By no means am I planning on going drifting or anything with it, but because that front end is off an RV that was twice as long as this car is, the steering angle isn't quite right. So even if you steer it as hard as you want to, it's not going to turn as quick because of the angle. Well, look it up, Ackerman angle, and you'll know what I'm talking about. So anyway, today's video, I started to ramble there. Today's video, I'm going to focus on fixing the headlight. I got a couple pistons here that was donated from my friend Tim, and I'm going to come up with a way to use the connecting rods and mount them onto the front of the car, and then mount the headlights off of the connecting rods. I don't think it's going to be real hard. I think it's pretty straightforward, but let's get to it and find out. First thing we have to do, first thing I'm going to do is get the tow bar off there and out of my way, and then take the mounts I have on here off. Right there. I'll go ahead and take all that off. I'll take the other side loose. Of course, I already got the radiator grill off if you hadn't noticed. It's sitting over there on the side. Sitting right there. But yeah, I'll get that off there, and then we'll get started. Wow. Okay, in a total fluke of luck, my holes that I had drilled already for the rational mounts are almost perfect for these connecting rod bolts to go through. I'll just have to grind them out a little bit to the inside, and I'll slide right in. Okay, I was going to use air-powered die grinder to open those holes up a little bit more. I realized the size I had was a little bit too big, and I don't think I'd get what I wanted, but I did find that I had a old school file, brand new, never been used. There we go. Next I'll need to go ahead and take the nut off the inside of this one and free it. So then we can decide what we're going to do to go from mount that onto there. Let's see so you can see what I'm looking at here. I was going to use this one back, but well, two issues I just thought of. One of them is I'll have to cut that down to get that to stick out, but the radiator grill has to fit back on here, so I'm afraid this would be in the way. So I'll go ahead and set the grill back on and how close the bolts are. First thing I'll do is mark where the holes line up with the grill, so I can go ahead and drill those, so that when I go to put it together, I can draw it all tight. Okay, so I ended up just grabbing some oversized nuts for to use as spacers and a washer. And for the back one that's going through the radiator grill, I think I'll be able to get by with just running a couple washers. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, since mounting them that way, what I was thinking about doing, looks like I'll be sitting, for one thing, it's got me rotated the wrong way, and because I'd had these mounted up where they mount it from the side instead of the bottom, so I'm going to have to mount it from the side, but I don't want to be as low as they are right now, so I'm looking at options here. Okay, what I'm thinking about doing now, I'm going to drill a hole in the end of it this way to run this bolt through, and then come back, heat it up, and bend it up to help raise this whole thing up, because otherwise if I just did it like that, I'd be way down here, everything in my way, which is, you know, what got me in this problem in the first place. A couple different options here. I'm going to turn the camera off and try to figure it out, and then I'll get right back with you. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I come up with this idea. What I did is drill a hole in the end of it. I drilled it all the way down into this bottom part here. Then I came back with a bigger drill bit just for the top side, so that I could go ahead and run a tap down for this bottom part and just tap that bottom part, because there's a shoulder on that headlight bucket bolt that needs to slide down through that part before it starts the threads down here. Took a flap wheel, smoothed out the top of it so it would fit up in that headlight bucket better, and then I put it in the vise, heat it with the torch, and put that nice angle on it. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Well, that didn't turn out like it was supposed to. Thank goodness I got a couple more of them connecting rods around. My mistake was I didn't keep heat on it. I was trying to do it with it being too cold. I don't know if you noticed, whenever I was bending it towards me, the backside had cracked already, so let's try again. I'll go ahead and do everything I had just done to that one, and I'll bring you back whenever I go to bend it. Okay, I'm back. I just got done making this one after I broke the last one. This is the first one. I got clamped in there next to it so I can make sure I get my angles right. I'm going to try not to rush it this time. I know that's what happened last time, was I got in too big a hurry. Didn't put enough heat in it, so I'm going to take my time with it, get it good and hot before I try to bend it. Yep, I believe that is a match. Run this one out, throw it in some water, and we'll finish it up. Okay, I've made a couple little cushiony, little spongy spacers. They're like what I guess they're urethane. They're whatever you'd use in a shoe sole. So I guess it's some kind of molded rubber. My little cushiony pieces aren't quite thin enough. I ended up taking it over to the grinder and put a little chamfer to the inside, hollowed it out, a little chamfer to the outside. Try to make it fit in there a little bit better. I mean, it's soft and squishy, but I couldn't get it to compress enough to get the part started on there. There we go. I may want to put some washers behind the side over here to help straighten it up. It's got kind of outward angle to it. I'll worry about that after I get the other one on and see what it looks like. Okay. I like the looks of that. The only thing I don't like, I don't know if you can see it from there. See how they're kind of cocked outward on both sides. I'm going to go back in, take them off, and go back in and trim some off of that bolt, or I guess I could put some spacer in the back side. I could do spacer on the back side because I got extra on that side to work with. So that's what I'll try to do first. Okay, I discovered a new problem that I created. Look, right there. That is not good. Well, that's an easier fix in the sense that I know all I have to do, I can go ahead and pull up into here with my 2 holes, move everything up here, and fix that. I'm glad I saw that before I got too carried away. But yeah, I think that's that will fix it. Just move that upward, we will see. Okay, so what I decided to do is go ahead and mount. You see these pieces of pipe, have them up higher, and I can mount the, go ahead and use the bottom of the connecting rod. That gets the headlight up out of the way. So I'll go ahead and mount this one on too first before I get too carried away. And to help snug it up, I cut half a little piece of radiator hose, put behind it. That should work, unless I hit a hard bump while I'm turning all the way. I think that will work. Close up what I just did there. That also allows me to rotate forward and backwards if I feel like they're not lined up right. Like that one looks like it's looking up a little bit too much. Alright, that's going to wrap up today's video, putting the headlights on Sketchy. I hope you enjoyed the video. I've got some really cool stuff coming up, so if you're not a subscriber already, please subscribe, hit the little bell, and I wish I could put a video out every week, but my work schedule don't really allow for that. So hit the bell and you'll be notified whenever I get the next video up. I'm going to start working on the turbo setup. You don't want to miss out on that. I think it's going to be really cool. It's going to be a learning experience for sure. I'm starting to order some parts and start getting some parts in. And so this headlight thing was just bugging me. I had to get it out of the way, get it done so the headlight was up out of my way, not dangling down there when I was trying to work. So that's done. Next video, I won't be starting on the turbos yet. I said that, but then I'm not yet. Next video is going to be addressing the power steering, or the lack thereof. So until next time, this is Glenn for GMP Custom Fabrications, living the dream until the freaking phone rings. Thanks for watching.